The age of expression, Ronaldinho in the last romantic era. There was a time in football when the game did not feel engineered. Before GPS vests tracked every sprint, before tactical diagrams mapped every movement, before efficiency became the highest virtue, there existed an era when footballers played not like specialists, but like artists. And at the center of that fleeting moment stood Ronaldinho, smiling as though he knew it wouldn't last forever. He did not just play in that era. He defined it. Football before it became calculated. Modern football is a science. Every pass is analyzed, every run measured, every system optimized. Today's players grow within structures designed to eliminate unpredictability. But in the early 2000s, football still allowed room for improvisation. Coaches organized teams, but they left space for individuals to invent. This was the final chapter of what many call football's romantic era, a period when expression mattered as much as execution. Ronaldinho arrived at exactly the right moment, late enough to benefit from football's global spotlight, early enough to escape its mechanization. The philosophy of joy over efficiency. Most great players seek dominance. Ronaldinho sought delight. He didn't approach defenders with urgency, he approached them with curiosity. What could be done in this moment? A flick, a no-look pass, a feint that defied logic. In today's analytics-driven game, many of those decisions would be discouraged as low-percentage risks. But Ronaldinho's genius lay in transforming risk into spectacle. Where modern football asks, what is the safest option? Ronaldinho asked, what is the most beautiful one? A style born from the streets, not the systems. Ronaldinho's football education did not come primarily from academies. It came from Brazil's street football culture, a place where creativity outranked tactics. Improvisation was survival. Technique developed through play, not repetition. Expression was identity. Street football does not punish mistakes. It rewards imagination. That mentality traveled with him to Europe, where structured leagues suddenly encountered a player who did not think structurally at all. Paris Saint-Germain, the warning sign of what was coming. When Ronaldinho arrived in Europe with Paris Saint-Germain, glimpses of his brilliance were already visible. Yet he often clashed with the expectations of European discipline. He was dazzling, but unpredictable. Magical, but difficult to contain within systems. At the time, many saw this as inconsistency. In hindsight, it was the first signal that Ronaldinho represented a philosophy football was slowly leaving behind. Barcelona. The perfect stage for the last romantic. At FC Barcelona, everything aligned. The club was rebuilding its identity. Fans wanted not just victories, but inspiration. Ronaldinho provided both, and more. Between 2003 and 2006, Barcelona became more than a successful team. It became a traveling performance. People didn't tune in merely to see results. They tuned in to see what Ronaldinho might attempt next. And that unpredictability became the soul of the team. When skill became storytelling, Ronaldinho's greatest moments often felt narrative rather than mechanical. A pass wasn't just a pass, it was a surprise. A dribble wasn't just advancement, it was suspense. A goal wasn't just a statistic, it was a climax. Football briefly resembled storytelling. Each match carried the possibility of invention. The Bernabeu applause, a moment beyond rivalry. When Real Madrid fans rose to applaud Ronaldinho after his unforgettable performance in 2005, it symbolized more than admiration. It marked recognition that what they had witnessed transcended competition. Rivalries divide supporters. Art unites them. That night, Ronaldinho wasn't an opponent. He was a reminder of why people loved football in the first place. The beginning of the end for expressive football. As Ronaldinho dazzled, football itself was evolving. Clubs began investing heavily in data analysis, physical optimization, tactical automation. Youth academies focused on structure. The sport was becoming faster, stronger, and more efficient, but also less forgiving of improvisation. The margins at elite level shrank. Coaches demanded predictability. Systems replaced spontaneity. Ronaldinho's freedom became harder to sustain. Why Ronaldinho's peak was so brief. Unlike players built for repetition and endurance, Ronaldinho thrived on emotional connection to the game. His motivation came from joy, not obligation. As football shifted toward relentless professionalism, sustaining that joy became more difficult. The romantic era required space to breathe. Modern football offered none. Ronaldinho did not decline simply because of age or fitness, he declined because the environment that allowed his expression was disappearing. The rise of the machine athlete. In the years following Ronaldinho's peak, a new prototype emerged. The modern superstar. Highly conditioned, tactically disciplined, meticulously managed, consistently productive. Players like Cristiano Ronaldo embodied this transformation, athletes who mastered the scientific era of football. Where Ronaldinho symbolized freedom, the new generation symbolized optimization. The game was no longer about moments. It was about margins. Why fans still return to Ronaldinho? Despite football's evolution, Ronaldinho remains one of the most revisited figures in highlight culture. His clips circulate endlessly because they offer something modern matches rarely do: surprise. Today's elite football is extraordinary, but rarely unexpected. Ronaldinho lived in the unexpected. The emotional gap in the modern game. Ask fans what they miss most about Ronaldinho's era, and many won't mention trophies or results. They mention feeling. Watching him felt different, less tense, more playful, more human. He reminded audiences that football was once closer to dance than to design. The last romantic, not the only one, but the final icon. Football has always had artists: Pelé, Maradona, Zidane. But Ronaldinho was the last to dominate globally before structure fully overtook spontaneity. After him, expressive players still existed, yet always within tighter frameworks. He was the final superstar allowed to roam freely at the very top of the game. Legacy beyond statistics. Ronaldinho's legacy cannot be captured in numbers alone. He influenced how children tried tricks in schoolyards, how fans valued creativity over efficiency, how football could still feel playful at its highest level. He didn't just win matches. He shaped imagination. What the Romantic era taught us. That brief age of expression showed football's dual nature. It can be a system to master, or a language to speak. Modern football has largely chosen mastery. Ronaldinho spoke the language. Final whistle. A smile that defined an era. When historians look back, they may describe Ronaldinho not just as a player, but as a transition point. He stood between two worlds. One where football was felt. One where football was calculated. And for a few unforgettable years, he allowed the older world to shine one last time. The age of expression did not end suddenly. It faded, with a grin, a no-look pass, and a player who reminded us that sometimes the most powerful thing in sport is not control, but joy.